Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, I believe. Welcome to the first ever Decentraland All Hands community session. These sessions is a revamped format that replaces the traditional AMN sessions. This new approach is designed to provide a more comprehensive insights and foster deeper connections and synergy between the foundation and the community. This session is going to be broken up into 3 segments, starting with a foundation update, followed by the product update, and then closing up with the AMAs. If you haven't gotten a chance to submit your questions for the Slido, I will paste the link here right now in the chat. Give me 1 second. You're welcome to submit your questions throughout this this event. So the cadence of these sessions will be aligned with the shape-up cycles, which will be occurring every 7 weeks. So our next Decentraland All Hands will take place on Wednesday, October 11th. We will be posting more info when we get closer to this date. In the meantime, if you have any questions for the foundation, there's also, you can ask for support via chat, email, there's Canny, and the RFIs. We recently created a thread outlining all these details, and I will just paste that link right here for you guys to check out if you want to look into that more closely as well. So without further ado, let's dive in. And first off, we have the foundation update, and I believe it will be either Yemel or Kim who will be taking it over from this point on. Welcome, Yemel.
Thank you, Natalie.
Welcome.
Nico or someone else can help me presenting the slides for today's presentation.
I can do it.
Thank you, Nico.
Sorry, give me just a second. There it is.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nico. So, welcome everyone to the All Hands. Natalie mentioned a word called Shape Up and Shape Up Cycles. Just a brief update there. Recently, we changed the way foundation engineering and product teams work. Now we are following a methodology called Shape Up. The core of that methodology is basically we define all the strategy for the cycle, the kind of things we want to deliver. Product managers and engineering managers work on the different initiatives that are aligned to that strategy, and then like a small amount of people decide on the priorities on those initiatives, and finally all of them are queued to development. These cycles are between 7 or 8 weeks of development, depending on in each cycle we're still experimenting what is the best for the team. But basically we have we end up with a lot of releases during the half of the cycle or at the end of the cycle. Last cycle ended last week. So we believe it was a good idea to have this all hands with the community and everyone involved at the end of this development cycle, so we can present the most important initiatives we deliver. The new cycle already start, so we also will give you a sneak peek of what's coming by the end of the next cycle. And the teams are also working on the strategy for cycle number 3. So that's the most important thing that happened in Decentral Foundation. I think I'm really proud of the team of what they accomplished. I think all the teams are also proud for our achievements as well. So without much information, maybe we can jump to the next slide, and I will pass the mic to Kim.
Hey everyone, if we haven't met yet, I'm Kim. I'm the marketing lead here at the foundation. And as you all have seen, there's been a lot going on. So the marketing team has been pretty busy, but overall, we've been wanting to ensure that the content we're sharing is really making it easier to build and share what you love about Decentraland. So some of the most recent updates we wanted to make sure you're all aware of is the YouTube has been updated and is continually updated. Thank you, PB, for doing all of that work. So now there's the SDK7 and emote tutorial playlists are live, and we'll be continuing to add new playlists as people are learning so that there's one spot you can go and see all of the different videos at once. Just making sure everyone's getting admitted. Great. And then product launches. So as Yamel mentioned, we're in this new shape up cycle, which the team will talk to you about in a few minutes. But really our goal is just ensuring that we showcase the products in the best way we can from a marketing perspective and let you all know what's live and what you can do with these products. So Peanut Butter on the team has been making some really awesome videos, those kind of tutorial to show what the product does and how you can use it. We love seeing all of your screenshots and your videos that you're making in World. We share them with the team that's responsible for that product every time we see them. And it's really great to see the creativity that you all bring to the space as everything is launching. I've been loving recently, so share your pictures with the hashtag DCL camera. You've all been so creative showing off your wearables and your views. So we love seeing all of that come to life. And then on our team, Carolina's also been doing the blog posts that help for some of the bigger initiatives. So such as our new hand wearable category and others that the team will get into more detail. So make sure you're checking out the blogs, check out the instructional videos, and stay tuned for all the product launches. One of the things we are going to be doing that'll come into effect starting in September is we are moving to a new email platform. So if your emails look slightly different, that'll be why, but we are going to also add another opportunity for you to opt in to product update emails. So that is coming very, very soon. So if you're a builder and you want to get notifications as new products are available, we'll be having that coming your way. The next big update is through the DAO and the foundation, the ambassador program is going live. So we're really excited for that for the second half of this year. So more to come on that, but expect more in real life events near you. And with that, we've added the news and in real life events channel in the foundation Discord. So for example, I'll be at Permissionless in September. We have Yamel at a bunch of events throughout the year. The foundation was just at ETH Argentina. So we want to let you all know where we're going to be popping up throughout the globe at different conferences and events, and try to coordinate some ad hoc meetups so that everyone can meet if we're in your area. And then our news there too. So there's been a lot of great press pickups about the products or about events coming up. And we want to make sure you all have the opportunity to see that. So although they all go out on social, now we're going to have one channel where we can just plop in those media links too, so you can help us to amplify and just see what the media has been saying. The last thing is we're going to be doing a branding workshop. We'd love all of you to get involved in Q4 just around some messaging. And I know this has been something the community has been asking for, of just how can we get more involved in marketing. So this will kind of be an open call to the community where we can brainstorm, do some messaging ideation, and just kind of see a little bit behind the scenes of the marketing process. Next slide, and some upcoming events. So we have a lot happening right now behind the scenes as we are planning for a big end of 2023 and then a very exciting 2024. So right now, as you all know, we're in a big month of all about emotes. So on the right here, you can see the upcoming events. We just finished our creating emotes tips and tricks. And I know Peanut Butter's working on an awesome thread for all of you with some of those tips that were shared. We have Scott's emoji making party. We have more Twitter spaces coming up. Our current emote contest, where we had mentioned that we are reimbursing a significant portion of the fees to allow for creators to test out their skills that they've learned throughout the month and get some new emotes into the marketplace, lowering that financial barrier to entry, and then just allowing for more creativity to come into the space. So if you're a new creator, we really encourage you to try it out and see what you can build. Then we have a contest and a party, and we're really excited to just get together and show off all of the emotes that were created throughout the month. In September, we're going to have a design month kicking off with our architecture Biennale. More information to come. We have our AI World Fair. As you all have seen, AI is being integrated into Decentraland, and this is really exciting to see how it can come to life. So having an intentional event where we can showcase that is happening in October. And soon after this, we will be publishing our 2024 event calendar. So this is coming today. So keep your eye out on our social media, and it'll be a blog post that shares high-level themes for what we'll be doing from now until December 2024. So this is a really great opportunity for everyone to plan ahead, get excited, put your thinking caps on, and be ready to create an exciting year to come. So lots happening on this end, and that's kind of the recap from the marketing events partnership side. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Kim. So hello, everyone. I'm Nico. I'm the product lead at the foundation. So I will be sharing the last product updates with you. So let's just get into it. As Yemo was mentioning before, and maybe you already noticed that we have been delivering many features in the past weeks. We are working with these new 7 or 8 week cycles. So the delivery, it's going out pretty well. So thank you for the team for this effort. I'm hoping that everything that we've been releasing is well received. So I will be showing you a little bit about the strategy and why we worked on all that stuff. So we have 3 strategic pillars that for the cycle 1 and cycle 2, and these are the things that we are focusing on right now, and this is helping us decide what is the best next thing to do for the platform. So everything that has to do with enabling social connections between new users, community builders, creators, and other players. It's something that we are trying to boost with the features that we have been releasing. Also, content obviously is super important. Trying to make better tools to make fun, engaging content in an easy way, in an efficient way. It's super key for all of the community. And last but not least, immersion. It's also super important because if we have the best environment for social connections, and we have the best tools to create content, but the environment is not performing, or it's not making us feel really the immersion of being connected to Decentraland, then it's not worth it. So we are focusing on that regard as well. So with these strategic pillars in mind, if they change throughout the cycles, I will be telling you about it as well. But these are the main things that we prioritize for the current cycles. So cycle 1 is already finished. We already shipped all of the stuff that I will be showing now. So I hope that you already seen this in Twitter, in Discord, or even in the platform. But let's get into one of the most relevant things that were shipped in the past weeks. So starting with the profile, I'm sure that you've already seen the new profile in the desktop, but we didn't have a web version of it, so it was kind of difficult to share your profile if you were in a real life event or with friends and you wanted to show your cool avatar with the wearables that we really like to show off. It was kind of hard to do it, but now you can also access this app from your mobile phone. So it's really easy to share. It's really easy to connect with people as well, because you can find friends and add them as friends using this app. Check the wearables that someone has. Also go and check in the marketplace all those wearables and get them for yourself. So I think this is a key piece in the environment to really boost social connections. Also, if you have a word in activated word, it can be seen in your profile. You can share it as well with just a few clicks. So it's something that I really like personally. Then, as Kim was saying before, we released the Handwork category. This is something that was super requested by many creators. It's a new category that can be found in the builder by submitting wearables, then in the marketplace for buyers to get them, and also in the Explorer to actually equip them. There are two types mainly of this type of wearables. You can have like hand accessories like rings or bracelets, and also you can replace like the whole hand, so you can have tentacles or a hook or wherever the creativity allows us. This is already out there. You can check the docs that are linked at the bottom left. So just go ahead and super easy to create. Then another thing that it was long overdue, and this is really, something super impactful for the platform, because portable experiences are similar to what can be done in a scene. Actually, it's the same way to do it with the SDK. But it's not bound to the parcel limits. So you can trigger a portable experience and enjoy flying throughout the Decentraland, running super fast, popping up a UI that can show you something else to do. You already saw some examples of that during Fashion Week with the map, with the interactive map. Also on the past Christmas with Santa and the Krampus giving out gifts. So now it's open for everyone to use. The documentation is linked right there as well. This is an example from Last Slice, which I tried. It's really cool. One thing to mention here about portable experiences is the way that can be triggered. In order to trigger a portable experience, you need to go to a parcel that has an NPC or any way that the creator decides to trigger the portable experience, and then you have a hub in the bottom left panel in the Explorer to access that portable experience and enjoy. Mostly anything that a creator wants to do with this new tool. So I'm super excited to see more of this coming out in the Explorer. Another big release that we had on the past weeks, it's smart wearables. This is also something that was super requested, and it's similar to a portable experience. The main difference is the way you can trigger the portable experience behind it, which is by equipping the wearable. So instead of going to a certain place and talk to an NPC, you can just go open the backpack, equip the wearable. If you have it, you can buy them in the marketplace. There's a special filter to find them. And once you equip them and you accept the permissions if those are requested, you can just trigger the portable experience behind it and start enjoying some of a few examples like I'm linking here. These are currently available in the marketplace, like shoes to run faster from the crypto trader, or a hot air balloon by a butterfly prawn. So you can fly around the center and check other views that you've never seen before. So this is up to your imagination. The documentation is linked below as well. Let's see what you can do with this. Another cool feature that we all know by now, I guess, it's the camera. Just click C to open the camera, E to shoot, and K4 to see the reel. You can move the camera freely, as you can see here in the video, take pictures. Some people are also using this to make videos. So we are working on a tweak to hide the UI, so you can do more cinematics with this tool. This was a community request, or at least something that we saw many people were doing inside the Decentraland using the operating system tools, just capturing the screen. So with this camera, we are acknowledging that and enhancing its capabilities. Another cool feature is the Avatar VRM export. This is a huge step towards interoperability. You can download your avatar with all the equipped wearables from the backpack, and you can download that in the VRM format, which is pretty much a standard. So you can use that for to see your avatar in other platforms, as we've seen a few examples. You can use that for VTubing as well. There's some tools from the community to do it. So yeah, this is really cool, and you can take many versions of your avatar with you and use it wherever you want. Then on the discoverability of scenes and events and places, we've been working on the Discover tab in the Explorer. If you notice, we don't have anymore the Highlight tab because it was kind of confusing. Now it's more inclined towards places and events, and we added all of the filters and sorting options that were previously present in the dApps. Now you can access this from the Explorer directly and find and discover new places. You can see the most liked and disliked places as well. You can check how many people are present in live events. So it's a great tool to find new content, to be surprised with the things that Decentral has to offer. So yeah, I invite you to go ahead and discover all the cool stuff that is happening on a daily basis in Decentral, and it should be easier to find that engaging content. We also added a search bar for both the Explorer and the web. This was kind of a must-have. If you know the name, the place, or any information that is present in the title or in the description, you can type it right in, and the results will pop up. It's really easy to find places. Maybe if you see something outside the Central and you wanna find it here, just type the name using the search bar, and it will pop up right away, and you can just jump in to that place and check it out for yourself. This is something really easy to check. If you notice, you have in many places where you have text inside Explorer, you have this pretty broadly used copy icon. If you just click on it, the location will be copied, the intro, for example, or a message in the chat will be copied into your clipboard, and then you can paste it anywhere you like just by using the regular commands. Command C, Control V. So you can either paste information in the chat in the Decentraland, or you can take it outside and paste it wherever you want. That was not possible until now, and it can come really handy. This is something that it's kind of out, at least in many of the dApps that you can see right here, is a single sign-on. What we did is changing the way that you sign in, so you don't have to sign a message every time you go to a new dApp or to Explorer. So mostly for people who are heavy users of the platform, and you are a creator and then you go to an event and then you go to play or voting in the DAO, all those transitions should be way smoother because you don't have to sign in every time. It's just one single sign on and then you are in, and the same happens if you log out, you will be logged out from all the apps. This is currently already in production for play.decentraland.org, also in the marketplace and in the builder. And during this week and the next one, we'll be deploying also the single sign-on for the governance side, for the events and places dApps as well. We'll be announcing this as soon as every dApp is updated. Then this is something that I really like personally. We haven't announced this yet because it's the first version, and we are still working on some tweaks and also some improvements and new features for this. But if you ever use the VS Code extension, maybe you noticed the editor in VS Code. It's super similar to what you can see right here, but this is on the Builder dApp. So if you go to builder.decentraland.org, and you go to a scene section, you will be able to find this. Also, you will be able to find like the legacy scene builder that you are used to. So I know that many people in the community have the question about the builder, like what's going to happen with the builder. So it's not dying, I'm happy to say. So it's evolving. So we are building new features into it and making it better for content creation. And one of these improvements is the web editor. that lets you create scenes with more reliability. It works way faster. It's more precise because you can move assets with the positions right in the numbers right there on the right, as you can see. It's scenes in SDK7, so it will be compatible with the new version of the SDK. So you can check it out. The only thing is that it doesn't have smart items yet, but we are working on that. I'm going to mention it later as well. So yeah, super happy to give you a sneak peek of this. We're going to keep announcing as soon as we introduce more features into it. And last update that I have for the things that are already in production is the one improvement on the SDK7. It's the animations in the scene. You can trigger custom animations from the SDK, as you can see in the example. This is just a test scene, but you can submit to the scene a file with a custom animation that you want. This is not an NFT, it's not an emote, but you can submit any animation that you want, and this is also visible for other players in the scene. So it's really cool to have more movement and more immersion in the scenes and not seeing players static all the time. So this is a really cool tool that you can use. The documentation is linked below. So please try it out, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to support. Then I have a request for all of you. I hope you like the updates so far, but we just launched all of these features, and one really important thing that we really need from the product team is to have feedback from all of you. So we have this usability test and a survey out there. So if you can, thank you for sharing the links. If you can, give us a hand there, enter, spend a few minutes answering some questions and sharing your feedback with us. We can really use that information in order to make better products that are there for all the community. So thank you for that. So well, up to now, this is all the present. This is everything that it's already out there. So let me share a sneak peek and a little alpha of the things that we are working on right now. This is currently in development. You can expect to see these new features live. Some of them will be live around mid-September and other ones around early October. So you can expect this type of cadence from us, and yeah, like you can know from now on the things that we are working on and what to expect as improvements in the platform. So the first one is a bomb, at least for me. We already talked about this in the last Twitter space last Wednesday. So if you were there, you already know this. But for the rest, we are working on Emotes 2.0. This is the evolution of emotes. Super excited for this new feature. As you can see, this is a supercharged emote. We're going to include two things mainly in the animation file. Well, it's a different file, but when you submit an emote, you will be able to submit also, besides the animation itself, a geometry and sound. And a sound file. So if you do it right, obviously we're going to submit all the documentation necessary and examples. You will be able to do something like you can see in the GIF right there. So the emote, when you reproduce the emote, some geometry, in this case is a tennis racket, can appear out of thin air, and also the sound could be clipped as well, and obviously at the same time and matching the frames with the animation. So if you do this right, you can have like pretty cool and immersive emotes that have objects besides the moving the body itself, and also together with sound. So it should be like a really nice experience. I'm super excited to see this all over the world. Yeah, have fun with this. It was really fun when we launched the modes some time ago, and this is going to be really great as well. Another thing that we are going to launch soon are smart items. This is mainly an update for the new editor, both in the web version in the builder and also in the VS Code extension. So these are, if you're already familiar with them, these are items or 3D models that are optimized for scenes in Decentraland, but they have special capabilities which make them smart. So for example, you can have a door that opens when it's clicked, a lever that interacts with the door. So when you move the lever, the door opens. There are stuff like putting music in the scene, putting a video in the scene as well. So we're working currently on the first iteration for this on SDK7. This is an important thing as well. And progressively, we're going to add more smart items to the experience. And if you don't know how to code, this is also a great way, to have interactive scenes, which are more fun, more engaging, without the need to write code. So a few iterations from now, we will be able to enter the builder DApp and create a scene with interactiveness, just with clicks and drag and dropping. This will be really cool as well. Then this is also for making scenes with not everything written in code. So a few editor improvements for primitive shapes. As you can see, and colliders, you can add colliders directly from the UI and not necessarily writing the code for each behavior. Also to add a text shape with a simple text in the scene can be done via the editor UI. So no need to write code for these basic components in the editor. Should make it easier in the development side. Then I hope that you can see and appreciate this difference because I'm casting. But we're introducing twins for smooth movement on the SDK. If you're familiar with this, you will appreciate it. So the main change here is the way in which the assets in the scene move when they are rendered by the engine. So with twins, the movement is way smoother, so it's handled by the engine itself. So moving platforms, for example, shouldn't be like kind of clunky. The other way around should move really smoothly and really fast. So this could be a great way for very immersion in many things that use these movements. Then we have the reward server, which is something that maybe you already interacted with, but it was closed. But now we are working on a UI so that any creator can just connect their scene with the reward server and give a reward after a user performs certain action in the scene, and define the price that someone can get after completing that action. So it's going to be easy to use. You will need to use this using the SDK, but you can have a clean UI in order to configure the campaign and the prices and everything. This is not the final UI, it's just a mockup. So yeah, once we release it, you will be able to see how it will look like in the end. This is something cool as well that was voted on the DAO some weeks ago on the proposal of Words 2.0, if you remember. So one of the things is that making Words available for ENS holders as well. So currently, if you own a Decentraland name, which is a subdomain of ENS, you can go to the builder, create a scene, and deploy to one of your words. And we're going to introduce this feature for ENS owners as well. So if you have an ENS name, you can also go to a builder and submit a scene to your world that is tied to your ENS name. So if you have both the Decentral and ENS names, you're going to have more words, and this will invite people from our communities to the Decentral as well, so we can be more enjoy this. A few more updates, and I'm about to wrap it up. We're going to also make it possible to host events in Works. Currently, in the events page, you can create a new event, but you only have the possibility to put like the coordinates because it's only meant for LAN. But with this feature, you will be able to also create an event that will be visible on the events page in the Explorer and in the web version, and you can create the event and defining which world it is. Obviously, as voted on the DAO, this can only be done in worlds that also belong to someone who either owns land or it's renting land. So everything is compliant with the DAO proposal of worlds 1.0 and 2.0. We're going to also add scene categorization to all the scenes. The way we're going to do this is defining a set of categories and then use an AI model to do an initial categorization for all the scenes using the information in the title and in the description. And then all of the scenes will be categorized and discoverable in the Places tab first, and then we're going to do the release to Explorer. But I expect first to happen this in the tab. Then for all the creators that have a scene already deployed, you can update the scene JSON if you have another parameter. So you can add the category and choose the one that you think is the best fit for your scene. And if you are creating a new scene, you can also include this information when you're deploying it, so it will be appearing on the right category, and this will make it easier for other users and players to find content that suits their likes. And last announcement for now, it's
Nico has some internet connection problem, so he will be here shortly. Thank you, Nacho, for jumping up. I thought my internet was here.
Yeah, I thought it was just me too.
It's here again. Nico,
sorry, I'm back.
Yeah, you're back. Go ahead.
So this one, you saw the one about scene categorization?
Yes. No. Yes. Go to the map view.
All right. Thank you, Nacho. Sorry about that, folks. So I was saying that we're going to give some love for the map that it's been forgotten for a while. We're going to add better orientation so you can know where you're facing. We're going to change the way we show the points of interest and the crowded places. So just by looking at the map, you know where you can go to find other people. So yeah, we're working on many improvements for the map. So expect changes on that view as well. And that's it from my side. I hope you enjoyed the updates and the alpha. And going back to you, Natalie, or Yemen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just, excuse me, Natalie, just a quick comment regarding this alpha or sneak peek of what is coming. Yeah, we need to give the different teams enough flexibility to define what's the scope. So the ideas are kind of raw. We cannot promise that like the final feature is going to be delivered, or actually the project may fail. The team may find something that is not doable in the time frame we propose. So yeah, please bear in mind that this is a sneak peek, but the scope of the initiatives may change, and maybe some of the initiatives may fail, and that's totally acceptable. We are doing also research in the process. Yeah, but we all wanted to give you some insight of what we are doing right now. Bear with us if we cannot deliver everything, but this is what all the teams are working right now.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys. I'm blown away. So this now we will be entering the AMA portion, and I believe the link has been posted also in the chat several times if you guys want to add anything. And if you want, I can share the question. If you stop sharing, I will screen share. Can you guys all see it?
Yes, I can see it well. Thank you, Natalie. Do you want to read the questions? I can answer, or maybe someone can jump in.
I will do that. That's great. And then if you guys in the community want to upvote anyone, because we have so far 39 questions. If we're not able to go through them like before, we will answer them and get you guys that. So let's start with the top one. So when Decentraland will have performance, when will Decentraland have performance like Roblox with no lags, freezes, or bugs? I also want to thank Yaml for the amazing Java Foundation.
Thank you for that. Yeah, we are very concerned about Decentraland performance. The rationale behind that is the code base, like the product Explorer, has many years. It's the same code base we launched on the 2020, and we have been iterating over that, adding more features on top. But there is some technical debt that it's really hard to overcome as is. We have spent, I think, many hours of different engineers in order to improve that performance. However, going to a complete rewrite of the engine is what actually going to deliver a performance like Roblox. That research project already started like 3 months ago. We have seen a really good performance, really good results of the research of a new client. For this cycle, we have a few initiatives working in this new implementation. Most probably next cycle, we will go all in on it. Hopefully early next year, we can have a new client out there. I cannot promise a particular date, but this is really high on priority for us.
Okay. And just to add on top of that, basically the main difference and the main challenge that we are facing comparing to Roblox is that we have a huge open world where you can traverse. Roblox is actually avoiding that with having single scenes that people just load through in. So we have a little bit of extra challenge that we are taking on board with the new project that just Yemal mentioned, to take that, from the start, design properly and get the performance that everyone wants.
Okay, I will check that one off. The next one is, what do you think about allocating part of Decentraland DAO Treasury, if community agrees, to help Foundation with technical development and infrastructure?
I think that's really nice. We have actually a few examples of how Foundation and the DAO can collaborate. The Ambassador program is a joint venture between the Foundation and the DAO, and I think it's a small experiment on how we can both allocate capital to important projects. There is also a project called the Protocol Squad, which involve some people from Foundation that are not actually working in Foundation, but they had a long time in Foundation, so they have all the knowledge. And I believe that project is delivering good results as well. So I believe if there is a good project, that's something we're open to do it. Also during these cycles, maybe we plan for 40 different initiatives, but we can only execute on maybe 20 of them. So the other 20 are still up for grabs. We have been discussing with Gino in pushing some of those through the tender process. So maybe that's another way we can help in the shaping of an initiative and then outsourcing to a third party to take it.
Okay, so the next question is, can you help us understand the sunsetting of SDK6? When is it? Level of support? Will scenes even work?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So what sunsetting means? It means that all the new features that we are planning for the SDK, we are targeting to be on the SDK7, so we will not add them on SDK6. So that's one part. It's we are not adding new features to the SDK6. That's one part of the sunsetting. The second part is at some point we will stop fixing bugs for the SDK6. That's another important point. And I think the most important thing is all the new clients that we are building, all of them are targeting on SDK7. Because the architecture of it is way better design. And yeah, so if we're talking about having a Roblox-like experience. That's a new client that only supports SDK7. We are also in the works some plans to being able to render something that is on SDK6, but it won't work completely. So when everything will stop working, it's actually when we release a new client. If we expect to have a new client in mobile, in VR, or a desktop, all of that will be SDK7 only, and SDK6 scenes will render, but the experience will be completely degraded, like maybe probably not interactive, or the UI won't work. But for the rest of the year, you can continue using the SDK6 on the web version. But maybe next year makes sense that you plan to migrate to SDK7 if you want your scene to work completely in these new clients. I don't know if Nico or someone else want to add any comments regarding this.
No, I think it's fine. Nico?
I can add a little bit something. So we shared a post about this a few months ago where, yes, we clarified that also, that we are supporting SDK6 till the end of the year. But yes, SDK7 is where we'll be focusing on adding all of the new features. And also a little bit of detail, I guess, on why we are only building SDK7 as supported by the new clients. It's one, because, of course, it's a lot more work to add support for both things. And it's a matter of having resources well distributed. And two, that the old SDK6 had the SDK needs that to be written. And this is what Unity does to interpret that and show that as a 3D world. And without that clear separation, it's way, way harder to implement. So yeah, that's all.
I think that this is where the DAO can help a lot. I think for those who have a really good scene, attracting a lot of players, migrating all their code to SDK7, maybe a lot of work. Maybe getting some support from the DAO to cover that cost and actually get the migration done could be a really good help from the DAO.
Okay. Next question is from Misfit Pixels. We want to support DCL for our Misfit avatars. Are there plans to allow import VRM in the next 6 months, or do we have to rig to your custom armature?
No plans for importing VRM. We do have skins that is the full body mesh. So maybe you can mint the avatar attached to that rig. But importing is not in the roadmap.
Okay. Any plans to make token-gated scene that can be set via the builder rather than the SDK?
That's a good one. I think we have something shaped. I don't know if it's in the cycle at the moment, Nico.
So where we have smart items on SDK7, I believe that we can do this kind of thing. Nothing really prevents that. Probably won't be the kind of smart items that we'll develop in the first phase, but definitely one big advantage that we have now over SDK6 smart items is that we're a lot less limited in the kind of things we can do with smart items. Basically, we can do anything that a scene can do with code could be done with smart items theoretically. So it's just a matter of building a smart item that does it.
Also, regarding what we have shaped, I created a document so that we could create authorization permissions for worlds from the builder. So the idea, this is not in the current cycle, but it might be in the next one. so it's an idea that is shaped that we have ready to develop, and perhaps we can do some experiment to see how this works from the API side, because we don't have the full staffing to do the UI. But the idea is that you could create permissions, different type of permissions to access a world scene, so that you could host some private scenes. For example, having a shared secret so that you have a password, having an allow list so that you only allow a certain list of addresses to access the scene, or having like owning an item from a collection or a specific item. So that I think that if we do that, that could enable this use case.
Okay. What should community do to have transportation system in Decentraland? Does it need to go through DAO, or Foundation has a plan for it?
I think now with the smart wearables, you can do like your own transportation system. Like we saw a portable experience of like a fat guy on top of like something that lets you fly. So if that's possible on a portable experience, it can be done also in a smart wearable, and you can sell it through the marketplace. So I think can be achieved right now.
Okay. Please make client version connected with PC version MetaMask.
Noted.
Check. Okay.
I just one comment here. Not in particular for this request, but we do care about what the community thinks we need to add. Actually, when we are evaluating the different initiatives to staff it for the next cycle, one of the things that we evaluate is like, do we have validation of the community for this, or is something that we are just thinking? Like having like a DAO poll in which everyone's saying like, yes, we really want this, it for us is really good as validation of like, this is something that the community wants. So I value these kind of questions, and I also value like the general sentiment when it's expressing the DAO as a poll, like this is something that we really want.
Yeah, just on top of that, we have Kani, as Natalie was mentioning at the beginning. If you want to send feature requests, and you can also vote in Kani. So if you want to check it out and it's something that maybe you thought as well, or a new idea that you haven't come up with, you can also vote. And if we check them regularly from the product team, so we are checking that. If there's something that you wish us to make, you can just put it there. We also answer if it's something that it's in the making, or if it's something that we cannot do because we analyze it and it's not possible, maybe technically, or there's another issue. We also share that information, so feel free to use the platform.
Okay. Will the foundation pay to support and upgrade existing DCL projects to SDK7, since the DAO has started approving grants to do so just before a fund freeze?
There are not plans of using Foundation Treasury to pay on external teams to port their own projects. I think that it's a good way to do it. The things that we are doing at the moment is we are using the Verified Studio platform that was funded by a DAO grant to outsource some projects. Nico Airshow has been sending requests to migrate the scenes from the Awesome repository. So we want to pay for the migration of sample scenes. So in order to accelerate the transition to SDK7, but not thinking in funding like the port of a particular scene. If you are a creator and you want to port your scene and you want someone to cover your cost, I think that would be the best path.
Okay. When will Genesis Plaza Classic board get an update? We have so many amazing new games, experiences that should be displayed.
Well, this is a good one. We have been discussing this. Actually, I have a meeting after this to discuss a project similar to this. I'm not sure. I don't want to promise a particular date. Like part of the having this shape up process. Shape up is a methodology that it's a book, super small. You can check it out if you want to learn more about agile development. But the point is like the time is scarce and ideas are way bigger than the time you have to execute them all. So we need to be very selective on the things we tackle. Addressing the onboarding flow, addressing the main spot is something we are thinking for the next cycle 3. But I cannot promise. Maybe the next community all hands we can share more updates about this.
Please burn mana.
Yeah, maybe the DAO can burn mana. If stakeholders want to vote for that, I think they can use their own treasury. For us, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to do that. I would prefer to use it to continue fostering the development of the platform.
Will it be possible to use DCL cast in the Genesis City parcel?
Not at the moment, and I can explain why. So now DCL cast world works in a world because there is one particular room, like on a protocol level, all the players are connected to the same like instance of that world, and it has a strict cap of participants. I believe it's 100 participants that can join the world, and further than that, the world is full and no other players can join. On Genesis City, we have something called archipelago and islands. Maybe Iceland is something that you are aware because of the URL. So it can exist several layers, like two people can be connected to the same catalyst, but in the same parcel, but in different islands, and they don't see each other. Yeah, so that's kind of the technical problem that we have for enabling Decentraland cast in Genesis City, how to sort out in the different layers of reality that can exist in the same plot. We have that protocol in order to be able to accommodate a lot of people in the same scene. But we see it as a problem. Probably maybe in cycle 3 something we can tackle, but I think it's something that we need to solve.
When a referral program, we need an ability to invite and track new users. Many proposals just speculate new users. Let's get hard data and facts.
This is interesting. Referral would be sending people to a particular URL, maybe. This is interesting. Maybe we can take note of this and include it in a future cycle.
When will the 3D navigation boards at Genesis Plaza be updated to current projects? Most of the project players are being shuffled to dead projects.
I think this is on the when you spawn in Genesis Plaza at the very top, we have like pillars. We had an updated version, but we never ship it because it was coded in SDK7. Taking note of this, maybe we can do it. Yeah.
Okay. Updates to the platform aren't correlated to Mana, as everything can be purchased in other currencies. Any plans to better integrate Mana users?
The better integration of Mana. Not sure if I have the right answer, project updates and the market. I guess there is some correlation, but the market has way more influence on the price of mana. I think mana is an important part of our economy, and even though that you can use a credit card to pay, like mana is being used behind the scenes, so the creator is receiving mana or mana. So mana is being used even though you're using a credit card. So that activity is actually impacting mana as like the total volume traded in the month. Other alternatives of how you can use mana, maybe stake mana to get something. Not sure. Maybe we can discuss this as a governance proposal. I think on the definition of worlds 2.0, like the space you have available, it's also tied to the assets you own, and mana is also included there. I think this is an interesting conversation to continue exploring options.
Okay, the next one's from Cheddar Queso. Sorry if this one's answered. I don't see any ads for Decentraland on social media or websites or anywhere. Why does Foundation not advertise Decentraland?
Kim, do you want to?
Yeah, sure. So we don't do paid advertising right now. We've been talking about how we can do this in the future. The first step would be having the proper creative for that. So that's what we'll be building in Q4, start coming out of that branding workshop and working on a larger branding campaign. So working through all of that and getting the proper messaging. We've talked about the best use of funds, and right now we feel like onboarding people kind of one-on-one and doing it with groups versus advertising would be the best use of everyone's time and resources during this market in particular. So we are, instead of like mass market advertising, we are going to conferences. We have a big list of them that we'll be participating in and really doing more of that hands-on experience and building the ambassador program. So that's where the funding priority is going at the moment in terms of onboarding and making more people aware of Decentraland. But more to come likely in 2024.
Yeah. Other comments to add on top of that. I know the team from Verify Studios have been running a budget for advertisement and trying to get brands or people interested in building on a particular event, like the Beauty Week, and also trying to get brands who want to do an activation inside Decentraland. And the team had a few problems there. The first one is related to the publishing platform. Some of them are not very welcoming to Web3 projects. They may shut down the account and you need to appeal the case, open a new account. So it is kind of hard to scale the marketing budget in, for example, Facebook, Instagram. So that's one part. And the second one is like the quality of the leads they were receiving. For sure, that's an investigation and iteration. I think it makes sense for us to run a campaign for like a big event. Probably for like the music month, we'll run a campaign and see what happens there. But all towards like building the hype, getting the emails of people who wants to be part of that event. Yeah. Maybe in Q4 is the month for marketing budgets.
Wonderful. The next question is, can we increase the file size limit for smart wearables? Do we need a governance proposal, or can this be done with community suggestions alone?
And maybe Nico or someone can chime in here on the limitations for the size of smart wearables.
We reviewed this limit and we found that there was an increase. I don't remember exactly the numbers, but it was an increase in the limit recently from a proposal in the DAO.
It used to be 2 megabytes and now it's 3. So probably if there are like more requirements, that we need more space, we should, I don't know, discuss it, have some examples, see why, see if we can optimize it, because each time you like increase a limit, you cannot go down. So you have to be very careful, because that is going to translate to everything that you do and to everything that you need to download and in the performance, bandwidth, and everything.
So I think it's more a technical challenge and taking it slowly. If we already go from 2 to 3, that's an increase. Let's see if the community needs more or what we can do with 3 before pumping it up.
Okay. One of the biggest disappointments in DCL has been the lack of development in districts. Is there a plan to better use these parcels or give these back to users?
From the foundation, we are not engaging directly with districts. I think that's a hard topic in which like the district leaders and the contributors can decide what is the best path forward. But Decentral Foundation, we really don't want to be involved or be a referee in that private negotiations. I think the DAO actually has the power to upgrade the smart contract of the land registry and do something there. I remember the last time, maybe 2 years ago, I sent a proposal to the DAO to basically upgrade the smart contract of the land registry to recover land from lost accounts. That path is pretty much the same for expropriating or taking ownership of land of anyone. And the proposal was shut down with good arguments regarding like this is a really risky door to open. At the moment, the only ones who have access to the land is the district leader. So we need his cooperation in order to make any change. If we cannot intercede or apply violence to take out the land, if the DAO wants to somehow create a mechanism to take the land back, that's something that needs to be discussed there and will require an upgrade in the smart contract and probably open a risky door for the future.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
I just want to say that, there was 54 districts and people always talk about districts as if they're all one thing. And there's so many different paths that districts went on. Some people have delivered, other people sold their land and disappeared completely. And all of the extreme, everything in between those two extremes. So I think it's really dangerous to talk about districts and not specific districts. That's my point of view.
Thank you, Sam. It's a valid point.
Okay. Is it possible to have an API endpoint for VRM export, or is that dependent on Unity renderer code in the Explorer?
The VRM export is something that is done on the Unity renderer code, which is open source, which actually is based on another open source project. So what you need to do is download all the wearable assets that are actually already available through the Catalyst endpoints, and you need to assemble the VRM file locally. The code is out there, so if you want to do it on your own software, you can port that code to your own application. Or actually, if you want to provide it as an endpoint and a service for everyone to do it, you are free to do it. Yeah, so I think it's possible. No plans for us to provide an API.
Any plans to support or incorporate the DAO-funded VR client to take it to the next level?
Well, this is my personal opinion, but the DAO-funded VR client is doomed. Why? I already expressed my opinion in a comment in a in the renewal. The problem with the current VR client developed by the team, Shang Ong, I think is the leader of the team. They are forking the current Explorer, which has all these performance issues we already discussed, and that's a code base they are not maintaining. We are maintaining it, and sometimes we do a change and their client breaks. So I think as a prototype and an experiment to showcase that this is possible, I think that's really good. But as the future, I'm not sure that's the correct foundations to building a VR client. We are in Foundation. We're investing in a VR client with a minimal scope. Probably that will be live in 2 months. And so I have been testing it myself. The scope is really small. It's only for meetings. So you can log in with your wallet and you can see your avatar with your wearables and you can have a meeting there. We have some public rooms and also you can create a private room and have a private meeting there. So no exploration of the open world or like particular worlds, just for meetings in like a few rooms. But I think this is a strategic for us because we want to publish it in like the Meta store and also on Steam. And the publishing process, I think we will have some issues, or at least that's something that we need to navigate legally. Yeah, so that's the first step for a VRM, a VR client. Hopefully in a few months we will have these meetings there. And for the long term, the new version of the client that I already mentioned that we are working, that's VR ready. So I think that's solid foundations for a full-fledged VR client.
Okay, here, sorry, that keeps flipping on me. It would be nice to have camera mode with all UI hidden. It would allow to record screen using external tool and create cool videos. Is that upcoming?
Yeah, that's upcoming. We heard that feedback and we are working on a fix. Well, it's not a fix, but it's still a feature.
Awesome. Are there any plans to upgrade Decentraland UI to support React 18?
Ron, are you there? I think he could be the person first.
Laucha or anyone from the apps team wants to take the mic? If not, I can answer. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yes, the plan is to have all the React versions up to date. Nowadays, not a priority, but obviously our goal is to be up to date with the latest technologies.
Nando?
Can I say something? Yeah, it would be great if we could update all the React versions on our applications to something more up to date, because we've been having some issues with new dependencies that require the React scripts and React versions to be updated, and we had to do some sort of hacks or workarounds to make them work. But I think we need to update the React versions, and this will include updating the Decentraland UI to new versions of React.
Okay. Is there an ETA for is point blocker support for UI in SDK7?
We have it's something that we are tracking. It's a known issue or known limitation of the current UI. It's one of the top things we want to fix in the next few weeks. But yeah, I can't estimate exactly when it will be fixed, but it's one of the top things.
Are the SDK optimizations for dynamic entity currently enabled or still to do?
Sorry, I'm not familiar with what this is exactly. Does anyone know?
Hey, this was my question. I remember earlier in sort of the SDK7 releases, I know there's a property when you create the entity for this, and it was my understanding that, you'd be able to flag certain entities as dynamic and others as static to sort of optimize scene loading and things. I wasn't sure if that was available or not.
Right. Yes. For the time being, no. This is not a feature that we've scoped included for now. But there is a project that we'll be looking into that has to do with making multiplayer out of the box. I don't want to promise too much about this because this is in very much a very research mode. But it is about being able to mark things as being synced with other players versus not. That relates to this, not exactly. But yeah, here we're referring more to an optimization in the engine layer, right? It's about having something be updated frame by frame by the scene versus be always constantly not moved. Short answer is for the time being, we don't have that in the table, but it's something that we can look into.
Okay. Will smart items include message bus and synchronization so all users can experience the same movements?
Yes, that is possible today. The smart item can, basically use everything that the SDK can use. So it's absolutely possible to build that into the code in the smart items.
If it wasn't covered in the presentations, what other features are planned for the profile dApp?
I can take that. Yeah, we have a huge plan to keep increasing the profile. We just released the first version. We want to measure and hear your feedback. But one of the things that are coming up next are a tab to show creations and the rest of the assets, trying to look for feature parity with the current Explorer experience.
Please make bubble window chat. It makes people feel more interactive with each other. Is there a possibility that 3D files, vehicles specifically, could be capable to be used in World? I think you guys spoke about this earlier.
Can someone take this one? I think you can do in Worlds whatever you can do the same things that you can do in Genesis City, except for Decentral Cast. I think it's a limitation of the SDK maybe, or the size of the file. Not sure if I follow the question.
Yeah, I'm not sure if someone can elaborate, but I see the same as you. You can do exactly the same. You have the same whereas the same entities, your digital identity, and some extra features in one, which are the cast.
Go for it.
To expand on that, so there's a project called Meta Rides, who have created 3D or vehicles for the metaverse that they want to make interoperable. Currently, they are not compatible with Decentraland, the open part. I was curious as to what our limitations are with Worlds, if that is something that would be possible to have in there. And they told me the files are that they are creating for these are 3DS, I believe is what it was.
Okay. Yeah, the 3D files format for Decentraland is GLTF, which is a open standard. And also we have some limitations on the amount of polys that it can have, the amount of triangles that the mesh can have. So maybe they can take their current 3D assets in their files and pass it through a converter. I'm sure there are a few out there that maybe you can import it in a 3D software and then export it as a GLTF to solve the format issue. And if it's a problem of amount of triangles, there are some also open source software or alternative software to downscale it to less triangles. It may lose some definition, but I think it's worth trying. but we don't have in the roadmap to support other files formats other than GLTF.
Can Decentraland get a gambling license and allow users to sign up for casino-style games or P2P betting?
So for Decentraland Foundation or Decentraland as a platform, we are delegating the responsibility to the creators and the landowners for the things they build. So we don't want to be really liable for the content that other people do on their own land, since we don't have any access to those lands. We can only, Decentraland Foundation can only be liable for the things that are in our own land. So if someone is about to get a license to do gambling, it's the creator, the owner of the land. I think that's up to them. I heard Decentral Games was in the path of getting a license as well.
Okay, and we are nearing the end of this session. We'll take probably another 2 or 3 questions and then start wrapping it up, just to give everyone a heads up. The next question, would there be any reason the community could not make a commercial for TV and social media?
That's an interesting one. I would love to see a TV commercial. For some people, like they want to make T-shirts and they wanted to have like a sign agreement that they can use that IP, the Decentraland IP, intellectual property of the logo, and that is held by Decentraland Foundation. And we are happy to review the project and sign something if they need for their own protections as well. We probably want to know what's the scope of the project or what kind of ad they want to do. But I think our position is to be very open to these kind of initiatives. Kim?
Yeah, I think being able to do that just in regards to protecting the IP and all of that, we'd want to, for anything that would be public with the Decentraland in particular logos, we'd want the marketing team to be involved. So happy to coordinate. And I think this would come out of that branding conversation we mentioned, like doing a community workshop and doing that together. But go ahead, Existential.
How do I get in contact with you? Because I have several people along with myself that would love to try to put something together. We've already started some planning, so.
Sure, you can email me at kim.courier@decentraland.org. I'll pop it into the chat.
Thank you.
Okay, we have one more question from Existence. Would the foundation consider doing a joint swag shop with the DAO? People want t-shirts, hats, etc.
Yeah, I think the ambassador program, that proposal includes a budget for the ambassadors to produce the swags and distribute them. But I think there's plenty of space for other projects. I do also want t-shirts and hats.
Yeah, the ambassador program does have swag in it. So we'll be developing some, and then we can figure out from there if there's a way to scale it as well.
Well, the intention also behind it is to make another way for Decentraland to have money coming in instead of always going out.
Yeah, totally understood. We've been looking at this in the past. One of the biggest considerations is on-demand shipping across the globe and how we can make sure that works in different continents. So that's been the biggest challenge so far. So looking into different partners that could make that possible, but definitely on the radar.
Yeah, we'd love to see something like that.
I think we'll have time for one more question. We'll do the odd job and then we'll start wrapping it up. So from odd job, can we please get scene thumbnails to show up when linking to DCL parcels?
We can take note of that. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'll just, if you guys have any closing remarks, if not, I'll start closing this session.
I think this has been awesome. I think it's a new refreshing format of the technical AMAs. Less frequent, but probably packed of announcements and showcasing the features and having all hands on board here. So thank you so much for the team, all the audience, your questions, your feedback. It's very much appreciated. Please do sign up on the survey forms. We can, maybe Natalie can later circulate the links for you to sign up for getting more feedback and doing some testing on the new features. This has been great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll definitely be sharing all those links. And just to closing, thanks Yaml and Kim for your wonderful updates. Excited for all the great spaces and events happening this month on emotes. I'm actually working on my first one ever, so it's been a lot of fun. Also, great job on all the workshops surrounding that. Thank you, Nico, for all the amazing product updates. Your presentations always inspire me to dive in and build. Super stoked about Emotes 2.0. I think that's going to really open up some amazing creativity. And thanks again, Yemel, and the rest of the foundation team members for helping answer all the questions. And as before, during the AMAs, these questions that we were not able to get to today will be answered and posted. And when they're ready, I will be sharing that on Discord and Twitter. Also, thanks to all the community members that took the time to join us today and for all your great questions. Your attendance, feedback, involvement is critical to the shared success and growth of Decentraland. And this session will be uploaded to a YouTube channel probably later today or tomorrow. Also, please remember that from that Twitter post that we shared earlier, there are all the various support channels that you have to get any question answers in between these sessions. And with that, I'll call it a wrap. Thanks again, everyone, for being here. And be sure to join us tomorrow for our Decentraland DAO Discord Town Hall and our in-world meetup with Soul Magic. And ciao, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.